Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So again this week we're privileged to have Dr. Muhammad Abdul Bari join us to deliver the third and final session of his series in the role of parenting. Muhammad Abdul Bari is a noted British civic leader, educationalist, parenting consultant and author, founding member of the Muslim Council of Britain, Citizens UK, and has been involved with the East London Mosque and several charities including Muslim Aid. He was conferred an MBE in 2003 and he's an honorary fellow of the Queen Mary University of London and holds an honorary Doctor of Education from the University of East London. This is not the right one.
Did I say this one?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala sayyidil mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bismillah, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Jazakumullah khair, brothers, and hopefully there are sisters. And this is my third talk in this series. And before I go into the specific topic tonight, I'll just go through some of the things that I discussed last week and previous week. It doesn't go back, does it? Oh yeah. Okay. So tonight's discussion is about roles of parents. That's the theme, and tonight's topic is behavior and manners. In the last two discussions, one in January, we discussed about nurturing, that means nurturing aspect of our children. Last week we discussed about the structuring, that means more or less disciplining, how to raise them up as good human beings, good citizens and good Muslims. And tonight is about behavior and manners. Just a few words, because tonight, this session is the last one. So, parenting, as brother, when he announced, is getting really important and serious in the country that we live in the West, that the world listens to. And everything changes suddenly. Lifestyle, behavior, sex and relationships, and all sorts of things. Individualism has been there for generations now in the West and in the world. And moms and dads' role has been changing because many mothers work. And in the village, I mentioned this even last week, that it needs a village to raise a child. A Muslim village in rural countries, parents are helped by additional members of the not only family but of the whole village. But in the society that we are living in, it is not the case. We are living solo life, individual life, and our intermingling is very limited. If we are practicing Muslims, and then we have definitely some people around us. I don't know why it is changing. Something is happening. So parenting is so important that if we don't look after our children after birth, and if we don't look after our children when it is needed, then these children educated in the state schools or private schools or whatever schools that we send to in this country, and they grow up and have their own friends in the markets, in the society, they get all sorts of ideas that often contradict with Islamic values and Islamic teachings and Islamic anchors. And I am witness to many instances that practicing Muslim families cannot occasionally raise their children properly. And they not only become disobedient with their moms and dads, they lose Islam. Islam is a questionable issue to them. Very few of them do go away from Islam, but still. But in America and Britain and many Western countries, many do not practice Islam, many do not understand Islam, many are agnostic. That is a reality. And those who come to the mosques like this and have some circle, we may live in a small world, but this world is not everything. This world is just a tiny fraction of Muslims. People coming regularly for prayer, or even Jummah prayer, what will be their numbers? A fraction of overall Muslims. According to the forecast of the 2021 last year's census, the number of Muslims will be around 3.6 to 3.7 millions. Nearly 1 million more than the last census, 2011. In 2001, our number was 1.6. 2011, our number was 2.78. That means nearly 2.8. Now, it's forecasted that the number could be 3.6 or 7 million. It's a huge number, second largest faith group in this country. So, alhamdulillah, we have got over 2,000 mosques. But these are small mosques. There are big mosques. But those who go for Jummah prayer, even if we count them in number, it is, alhamdulillah, far bigger than those who go to churches. But the church population, Christian population, 2011, 79% said that they were Christians. And in the last census, 2011, fraction came down. 59%. Now it will be less than 50% who profess themselves to be Christians. And those who profess Christian, how many of them go to the church? So if we compare with them, we are, alhamdulillah, far better. But should we be complacent? I don't think so. Because Christianity has lost its moral anchor because of compromises over generations and centuries. And if we don't expect our religion to be compromised in, say, few generations' time, then we have to wake up. And parenting is the only number one issue, in my opinion. If the parenting at home is done properly, and I have discussed some of the aspects, I'll discuss some of the aspects tonight. And if the mosques do their job properly, all the mosques, not only small fractions, complement parental works at home, mosques and family, these two institutions work together, then there's a hope that things will not get that bad. Still, some children and some people at some stage will lose Islam, unfortunately, because that's the trend and that's the temptation, that's the pull of the materialism. Okay, so this is the thing that I wanted to remind you, brothers and sisters. And tonight's topic is behavior and manners. Before going into that, I just recap that nurturing, that is the essence of parenting, and that's it. In fact, that's parenthood. Every parent, irrespective of their education, by default, they will learn how to raise their children, feeding them, clothing them, buying things. It doesn't need any extra education. Everybody can do that. Anyone who has sanity and common sense, not a mental disease, can do this. Parenthood is parenthood. Parenting is something more. And that is, with nurturing comes structuring and educating. So, nurturing is a balanced growth, wholesome growth. Structuring is about discipline and direction. And there are practical ways of doing this. Role modeling is the number one. And there are practical ways of doing things, how to discipline them in proper manner. Discipline doesn't mean punishment, but lead them towards a disciplined life to become a good Muslim, good human, and good citizens. And educating is the essence of this. Parents are educators. I mentioned this in one of the slides. Parents are educators. They are teachers. They are mentors. They are friends. They have got multiple roles. Educating doesn't necessarily mean that one has to have teaching qualification and teach people. A non-educated people can be a good teacher as well, because everybody can be a teacher for us. But we need good formal teachers as well. If parents are teachers, that's better, far better. What they do is, their endeavor is to raise their children as Khalifa of Allah on earth, representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this planet, as good human beings, because that's the essence, as Muslims and also as law-abiding citizens of a country. We cannot break the law in a country, even if it is not a Muslim country. Okay? At the end of the day, education ends up in giving manners to the children. One is succeeding in the professions, and essence of human being is the manners. And Prophet ﷺ says that he has been sent to perfect human nature, not only Muslim nature, human nature. He was perfect in human relationships. And this manners is related to the social skill and life skill. I am not going to discuss life skill. Social skill element I will discuss a bit, because social skill means how do you relate with other people in the society, because that is relevant, directly relevant. Life skill is another thing. One has to select a profession, business or whatever, to survive in this world. That's called the life skill. There are many aspects of that. So raising with social skills as an asset for our own community, that's another thing. Our children should one day become an asset because they will be the community. They will be the leaders of the community. If they are asset to the community, that means Muslim community or local community, as well as Islam teaches us to become a force for good to all in the society. That means example of goodness in the society. Through civic responsibility, through our engagement with the wider society, through our dawah action, and all sorts of things, we can become a force for good in the society. Muslims, wherever they had been in the past, they did only bring good things through Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar. That means to enjoining good and forbidding evil. A small number of Muslims went to different places in Southeast Asia, Africa, and different parts of the world and changed the demography of the whole society there within few generations. I know about the history of Far East Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Far East Asia. Initially, only a few dozens or probably a few hundreds of tradespeople, business people went there. And their behavior as a business people, as good human being, as a witness to the truth, and interacted with the local people, converted within a few generations the whole country. We are 3.7 million or 3.5, whatever number it is now. Are we doing this? Are our children learning this? Are our mosques teaching this? Are our families teaching this? These are the big questions. Unless we teach them, we will fear about cultural domination and we'll cling to ourselves. We'll not go out because we'll lose Islam, because that's the fear. And at the end of the day, we'll lose Islam. Because if you don't interact with the society, we don't know what the challenges are. We live in a ghetto, and this ghetto is not going to save us. Okay, so let's go to some practical discussions now. That new slides. And as I mentioned that the social skills are important because social skills means ability to socialize, ability to talk, ability to listen, ability to help, ability to take help. We are interdependent. We are not solely dependent because I was a teacher. I taught doctors' sons or accountants' sons or daughters. And when I needed medical treatment, I need these doctors. So we are interdependent. We teach some other people, and then at the end of the day, we have to seek help from others in different professions. That's called interdependence. And human beings in any society have to be interdependent. We cannot be totally independent. We cannot be totally aloof. And for that, we need social skills or interaction. We have to deal with business people, we have to deal with traders, buying things and selling things. We need to know how to do things in a professional, human, and natural. So these are skills that people will learn automatically, some of the things or most of the things, but this needs to be taught to our children as well. Okay, one is if a child is attached to the family focus, family attachment, that child will have confidence in the family. That will give them self-esteem, identities. And they will understand their own feelings and understand family members' feelings and others' feelings. These are social skills. And then, because we as neighbors have to look after our neighbors as well. And every neighbor, irrespective of their religion, has got right on us. If they are happy, we should share their happiness. If they are in difficulty, we should help them. And so neighborliness is another quality. Carrying conversation. How to carry conversation with known people, unknown people. Some people cannot converse. Within a few minutes, they switch off. They don't know what to say. And good handshake. That means for men to men. That is also important social skill. Prophet ﷺ used to do handshake, and until the other person took the hand, he would keep his hand. And this is mentioned in many of the in the hadith. Listening skill. In the behavior, showing warmth, empathy, caring others, other human beings and living things. Table manners. Practice to say thank you, please, all these manners. Telling a clean, good joke. That's important as well in the professions in this society, because jokes lightens things. People may be in difficult situation and make some jokes, and people like that. The former Prime Minister, I met many times in different capacities, Boris Johnson. He used to cut jokes nearly in every sentence. People laughed at that. That was one of his charms. He has had other faults, that's why he left. But cutting jokes is not a professional thing. People should be humorous. And we know that even jokes should not be lie. Reacting to an emergency, somebody in the street, some difficulty, calling ambulance and helping others and family members, this is another social skill. Accepting criticism, agreeing to disagree. We are not perfect, nobody is perfect. So any nice criticism, objective criticism should be accepted. If it is given in a wrong way, then we should behave in a way that we give them polite understanding that this is not the way how we should talk. And also, agreeing to disagree is probably the toughest thing at the moment for Muslims. Everybody wants to be leaders, everybody wants to be the best, everybody thinks that he or she is the best. And any differences, you are this and that, takfiri, fatwa, and everything comes up. The world is made, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made human beings with differences of opinions. Unless this is totally poisonous, unless it is totally haram, there are small fiqh issues, okay? You have this opinion, I have this opinion. We are not going to argue and fight on that. You know what happens in the moon sighting, every Eid situation. Muslims cannot even agree to disagree. Understanding stranger safety. So children should learn how to remain safe from stranger at home and outside. And patience, managing conflict and anger. Making phone calls. All these are social skills. There could be many things in the list. Okay, what are the causes of behavior or challenges in behavior? We should understand, because the topic is behavior and manners. Manners and behavior are interlinked. Islam teaches us to have perfect manners or best manners. At least we should try. But we as human beings are frail, we are daif, we are weak. That's why Umar who used to make a dua. That's a wonderful dua. Allahumma inni daifun faqawini. Oh Allah, I am weak, make me stronger. Wa inni shadidun falayini. I am very harsh, soften me. Wa inni bakhilun fasakhini. This is the second best human beings on earth after Abu Bakr, after Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, made this dua. So everybody at some stage will have some anger or rudeness or this and that. And this is not the end of the matter. And if our child becomes angry or does some mischief and we should not overreact to them. We should react in a calm, polite, gentle manner, and of course firm manner. But there could be many issues behind the child, because I'm talking about the child because we are discussing about parents. I don't know how many parents are here at this moment, but maybe I'm just talking to few only. Children brim with energy. Children are energetic and they're creative. They have got inquisitive minds. We'll ask why this, why not, why. All these questions will come. All people lose their energy. And they are not that inquisitive. They may not always. But children overall they have this quality. and are adventurous as well. They can make mistakes. They can touch the fire because they don't know the consequences until and unless somebody tells them or they experience this fire. As they grow, behavior changes. And some people can get better behaviors, some people can get worse behaviors. Okay? So there could be emotional factors, personal traits, context, role modeling, age factor, and physical or medical factors. A parent has to take this into consideration. Is my child ill, or is it becoming his personality, or what is the context? Why is he doing this? Why is she doing this? And are we becoming good role models in the society to our own children? Or am I showing something bad that he is learning from me, she is learning from me? Also, age is a factor. 3-year-old child will behave differently from 5-year-old child or 7 or 8 years old. So if a child of, say, 10, 11, and 12, say, does something silly, then we should take that seriously and handle it in a proper way. But if 3-4-year-old child does the similar mistake, we can laugh at that because age is a factor. Okay, so there could be physical or medical factor as well. So parents should be aware of their children's physical, mental, emotional, contextual situation. Only then they will understand why the child is behaving the way he or she is behaving and will not overreact or underreact. Next slide tells about some of the things that creates problem in the conduct or behavior. There are 4 categories in the behavior. They can be mild, they can be moderate, or they can be severe. One is aggressive behavior, threatening or causing physical harm, fighting, bullying, using weapons. Some children like that. Some children is bullish. They bully other children in the school, probably. So that's aggression in their behavior. Every human being, especially boys, can have more aggression. Girls can have as well, but boys have more. And that aggression can come from the family situation. Experience fathers getting angry with mothers, or someone in the family have used violence. And if this is not taught properly, then they can learn it. Destructive behavior, that means intentional destruction of property, arson, vandalism. Arson and vandalism is very common. Children can learn this, and if the society is not, there is no discipline in the society, policing is weak, parents are weak, community elders or leaders are weak, then children can get away with this, this can become their habit. Deceitful behavior, that's the worst. Cheating, lying, repeated lying, stealing, shoplifting. This could be another type of behavior. And violation of rules. A family has certain rules that I have to come back before, say, 5 or 6. We have to pray 5 times a day. We have to eat at this time. And some children don't bother. Oh, how do you address this? So there are many, many ways of addressing. I'm just highlighting the difficulties or different ways, and a proper parenting will address all these issues. One of the ways of handling this is to use incentives and sanctions. Incentive means you give something, you give a gift or a hug or some or different ways of appreciation, word of mouth, well done, thank you very much. These are also, so that's called incentive. As your child, ask your child what inspires him, and children also love certain things. So ask them, and you also know them, that your child wants to do this, wants to eat this food, their choice and everything, mom and dad should normally do this. And then you manage this at home through family management till that she or he will be rewarded or sanctioned on doing certain tasks And at home, you can ask them to reward them that if you make up your bed every day, if you tidy up your room, and if you do the homework, I'll give you something, inshallah. It's some gift, some present. That should be small as well as big, depending on how rich you are. But one should not bribe too much. One should not give children too much, because at the end of the day, if you give too much, and if they don't at some stage get anything later on, they will get annoyed with you. They will be unhappy with you. We have to use our common sense. We have to do things according to our means, according to our ability, financial ability. And then you can make a list of this in discussion with them. Say, making a bed, tidying up table, leaving bathroom clean, putting clothes in right place, washing up, etc., etc. So if they know this list, and slightly older children can write things for you, and make a family rule, as we discussed last week, that in this week, if you do this every day for 2-3 weeks, then I will give you a nice pay, and I will take you to the nice restaurant, or we will eat these things. That's called incentives. And if incentive doesn't work, then, or things are not done properly or correctly, then we must not shout at them. We have to make sure that they learn things, to do things properly. And one is, you can withdraw your gift. You can say that you haven't done this properly for the last 3 weeks. So I was thinking of giving you this, but I am not giving this now, because unless you do this, then you are sanctioned for this. You can only do things which are secondary things. You cannot sanction your children from eating. You cannot say that I cannot eat lunch, you cannot eat dinner, you cannot do this, you should not do this. Child's overall safety, well-being is parental responsibility. And any sanction that you give to the children should know that they are getting reward for this, they are getting sanction for this, so that in their psyche they will know, my mom and dad is consistent. Mom and dad has to be consistent. Whatever the mom and dad say, they have to do it. They should not tell a lie. They should not make a false promise. They should not make a promise that they will not be able to fulfill. If you do this, I will give you a car. You cannot say this. You say things that you are able to give. Okay. I'll shorten this discussion today, because if we can finish before 8, that will be probably wonderful, inshallah. Anger is one of the issues that prevents parents to become objective. If parents have got the anger problem, anger is a big issue, and in parenting courses this takes few hours in discussion. But I'll simply say a few things on parenting, anger, because anger can burn things. Anger is like a fire. Controlled fire cooks, uncontrolled fire burns house, as simple as that. And we have seen in the Western countries bonfire in the summer season, California, Australia, because that fire is uncontrolled. But in the house, cooker fire is controlled and that cooks. So anger is important. Every human being is a feeling and emotion. Like love, envy, and all sorts of human feelings, anger is our feeling. And it is embedded in our nature. We cannot destroy it. If we destroy it, then we will not remain human beings. And no human being is without anger. Umar was angry. He had huge anger. He went to kill Prophet ﷺ. His anger turned into positive things. So we can convert any of the negative quality into positive things. He converted his negative anger into anger against devil. Devil used to run away from him, and also wicked people. There are beautiful sayings from Prophet ﷺ. One is in Al-Tirmizi, that which recognizes that human beings will anger, Prophet ﷺ says, the best are those who are slow to anger and swift to cool down. Slow to anger means one has got the ability to think and get angry later on. So there are 4 types of things. Quick anger, quick end. Slow anger, quick end. In this way, quick anger and late finish, that is the worst. That's what this hadith says. Beware of anger, for it is a live charcoal. It's a live coal. You know, the red hot coal. We cannot take this in our hand. That's why it's fire. At the heart of the children of Adam, At-Tirmidhi. 4 signs, so there are 4 signs of hypocrisy. One hadith says 3, another hadith says 4. Sorry. Ayatul Munafiqi Salasun. Iza haddasa kadaba wa iza wa'ada akhlafa iza atumina khana. That's another. When he speaks, he tells lies. When he promises, he breaks promise. When he is entrusted to do something, he breaks the amana. This 4th one is when he quarrels or argues or fights, he abuses, use rough word. There are people who use very rough word when they get angry. They become mad. So that's the sign of nifaq, and nifaq is very dangerous because there are 3 types of human beings according to Islam: Muslim, non-Muslims, or kufar, kafir, and munafiq. And munafiqs will go to the pit of fire. Innal munafiqina fi darki asfali minan nar. So nifaq is dangerous for Muslims. Ali radiallahu anhu says, quite often a tongue destroys a person. A tongue destroys a person. A tongue can create a war. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah says, a person's tongue gives you the taste of his heart. What a tongue says, it tells about the heart of the people. So, in a family, parents, if they have got the anger habit, they have to control them. They cannot show each other's anger in front of the children, because that will destroy the future of their children. When 2 human beings get married, they should shelve off many of their bad qualities if they have. Okay, coming towards the end, Islam and manners. I probably mentioned this last week a bit. Islam is a simple belief. Unlike Christianity and other religions, it's confusing. Trinity, what is Trinity? Islam is simple, Tawheed, straightforward. Belief in Allah, Allah who has created the whole of the universe, and this universe is unlimited. Creation isn't unlimited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unlimited. Human beings cannot measure it. Even this whole of the universe that we know of, solar system, galaxy, and the universe, according to some Mufassirun, they say that Prophet ﷺ more or less mentioned this lower heaven compared to the upper heaven is like a ring in the desert. And you go like that. And the second heaven compared to the first heaven is like a ring of the desert. In this way, how big the Allah's arsh is. Belief in this Allah will give us confidence. We'll know where we stand in this world. Basic belief, and after that there's the prayer and the four rituals. Prayer is the main. Zakat once a year for those who are rich. Hajj once in a lifetime for those who are rich and physically able. And also Siyam. And of course, Islam is about knowing the basic halal, haram, major sins. And then a Muslim can more or less survive as Muslim. But his or her social life is the everything. These small few, not small, these few things are in the root, they are the root. And root is not sin. Human beings don't see how we pray, or they cannot judge whether it's sincere or we are not sincere. They cannot judge. What they can see is our behavior, akhlaq. It's just like a kalimat tayyiba, kalimatan tayyibatan ka shajaratin tayyiba. That means the root is asluha sabitu wa faruha fis sama. Root is in the soil, and it is spread. That is the manners. That's the Islamic etiquette and everything. That's the across the world. So Muslims' behavior should be the number one after those basic core prayers and belief. And if a Muslim's behavior is wrong, then behavior to human beings, behavior to another animals. A prostitute was saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because she fed the dog with water. So these akhlaq and manners should be discussed more in our civil discourse. Of course, imams and khatibs should speak about the belief and rituals, and that's okay. But they should not take all the time for only these things. Akhlaq and behavior and manners within the Muslim community, in the wider society, they are fundamentally important. Okay, I'm just mentioning the 5 components of parenting that I understand. One is the balanced growth and development, parent-child relationship, positive discipline, family and community perspective, faith, culture, and spirituality. These are the issues that have to be dealt as at home by the parents. Okay, I think I have this is the last one. I'll just wait for a few minutes for any questions. These are the books available. There's a Bengali parenting book. These are books by me. One is the left one, the Cherishing Childhood, is for primary school children, dealing with primary children. The right one, the yellow one, addressing adolescence, the teenage, and the top one, preparing for life, is helping our young people to become adult, matured adult, being part of the family and society. And that was the Bengali translation of these 2 books. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us understand the importance and sense of urgency of being good parents, and help us raise our children in a society that is dominated by materialism, hedonism, temptation, permissiveness, and so that we can we can more or less raise happy family and good neighborhood, good Muslim community. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If there are a few questions, then yeah, sisters, you can put your questions to the underneath the button. No, button. জি কারো কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে? ওকে, ঠিক আছে, ওকে, জাযাকুমুল্লাহ খায়ের। So জি, comment.
Yes, a comment or maybe a question to you.
Yeah.
If you can maybe elaborate on that. In fact, we as a Muslim, we look to prayer and discipline, as you said, that you try to pray at the age of 7.
Yeah.
What is the impact of that on parenting?
Yeah.
As a parents, when you discipline your child to pray at the age of 7, yes, if you can comment on that, please.
Prophet ﷺ has said that make your children to pray at the age of 7, not 8. He didn't say about 6. This comes from the practice of Muslim parenting from the Sahaba's time onward, and mentioned in a speeches by Umar radhiyallahu anhu as Ali radhiyallahu anhu. And from their talk, there are 3 stages of Islamic parenting. From birth to 7, is the most important, because that's the time of gelling relationship, growing them with physical, mental, emotional, spiritual happiness, and bonding relationship. And at this phase, parents should not force their children to do anything. They will learn through play and game and healthy recreation. From 7 to 10 is the most important age of teaching manners and all these things, because by this first seven years, children is just a tree has come to a shape, and now this tree is going to be matured adult. Adult means 14 is an age when children normally become cross puberty, or baligh. So this phase is also important. The last phase, 14 to 21, is hold their hands metaphorically, and make them full adult. Help them in their career and marriage. They have to settle up. So 7 is important because at that time children's maturity starts coming, and Prophet ﷺ, prayer is not compulsory for them, but practice is important. Hijab and prayer, or some basic Islamic things, if they start practicing from the age of 7, by the time they become baligh or cross puberty, they will be used to this. And parents will not have to struggle at that time. I know many parents, initially they love and they feed, they don't bother, they forget, they enjoy their life. Suddenly they see their children are getting rude and they're getting bigger, they don't listen to them. At that time it's too late. So 7 years is important, and at the age of 10, their beds should be separated. And there is a hadith that Arabic word is daraba, there could be many meaning, that if they don't pray then you beat them. It's not beating them, because one is, it is illegal in this country, nearly illegal, beating, and another one, beating doesn't raise a child good. Our eyes, our demeanor, our behavior, our manners should teach them enough that whatever my mom and dad say, that makes sense, that means. We don't have to threaten them or beat them to listen to us. And many parents have done that, and they have lost their children, because once this parental authority goes or they become independent, either they hate their parents or they keep away from their parents. And I am dealing few cases of this. So it's a nice question. And why is it 7? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, and because that is important for human race. 7 is important. Puberty is important, another phase, and 40 years of age is another important phase. Because when someone turns 40, that's the end of youth and the start of the old life. And puberty is the most important phase, because that makes one responsible legally, Islamically, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because not praying after puberty is a major sin. But 7 to puberty, that is optional to prepare them. Okay?
Also,
Yeah.
there's a point that regarding the parenting, of course, the parents should have to set practical
Examples, role model, yes, yeah.
Here, sometimes the parents have a very, what we call it, contradictory action.
Yeah.
In the sense that they say to the children, don't smoke, it's very bad.
But they themselves do this.
And they
Yeah.
say to them, okay, I want you to recite Quran every day.
Yeah.
I've never seen them recite the Quran.
Yeah.
So can you just comment on this? Because it makes
I don't think it needs any comment. Example is better than precept, and role modeling is the best example. If parents are role models, they don't have to role models for film actors and football players. They look up to the parents. And during the time of teenage, mom can become better role models for their daughters, and dads can become better role models for their sons. And because there are many things, that feminine things, teenage daughter cannot feel comfortable discussing with her father, and vice versa. So mom and dad both should be role models for all the children. If that happens and home environment is positive and there are some skills parents follow, then we don't have to worry too much. We do our best and we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Rabbana hablana min azwajina, that dua. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. I have come a long way. I have to go now. Inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Jazakumullah khair for listening and